that a smart contract is basically just that you take the contractual terms, instead of writing it down and have human beings processing it all the way, you put it into code, computer code, and have the computer do a lot of these things. What defines a smart contract in that sense is that it's self-sufficient. It's also self-executing, that once if you have this external information coming into the contract that defines an answer, then that will execute automatically. And finally, which is a part of the self-execution part, it will also enforce itself automatically. That might mean that you will have to transfer some money that's under in escrow, or it might also be that a running contract on the net, a software as a service agreement, is terminated automatically. So it's self-sufficient, it's self-executing, it's self-enforcing, and that means that at all these levels, you don't need human beings to interact. And obviously that means that the cost of having human beings in the equation is taken out. If you have a smart contract that's now embedded in some code, and you have agreed with the other party, everything from information, executing, and how it should be enforced, then you want to make sure that this is not changed afterwards. And if you combine that automation with the immutability of this new technology called blockchain technology, then you get the best of two worlds. You get automation, but you also get automation that cannot be tampered with afterwards. One of the challenges is, of course, scalability. We know today that the blockchain as it is today is notoriously slow. It takes a lot of time. It takes about 17 minutes today to process one Bitcoin transaction. And it also is extremely consuming of electricity in itself. So in order for this to work, we have to come up with efficient code for the smart contracts, and we have to find out a way to get the consensus mechanism about the blockchain to work in a far more efficient way than we do today. I think we should always remember that smart contracts are contracts. They are a way to regulate human activity, exchanges of transactions and assets and so on. Just because it's up there in cyberspace doesn't mean that it's not between human beings. There are rules that protect the weaker part, that are part of normal regulation, employer protection, consumer protection, tenant protection, and all these things. And just because you put these terms on a smart contract, it doesn't mean that you don't have to give the consumer the right to withdraw within a certain period from the contract. You have to do that. And you have to know how to put into the code an option that this actually can happen. So people who want to use smart contracts, they need to have the same legal considerations about the terms, about the process of entering into a contract, regardless of whether it's a normal written contract or it's or paper-based contract or it's a smart contract.